Greetings, greetings, friends and fellow light keepers. Thank you for joining me again. You've let me express my heart for a couple months now through these posts. Thank you. I feel like this is such a serious time in our nation that I can't hold back my concern, that I need to express our need for God to deliver us, and we know that that comes through prayer. And that is why I proposed a fast, an Independence Day fast, where we, in lieu of celebrating and eating hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill, that we come to God in prayer, a time of prayer in that day, recognizing that our liberties are being threatened. From the beginning of April, I felt like I had a word that called what was going on a spiritual gauntlet. This is a spiritual gauntlet, which to throw down the gauntlet, which was the armored glove that a warrior wore, to throw that down to somebody meant it's on. This is a duel, and it's for somebody's honor. And so feels like a really serious time that we defend God's honor on the earth in Jesus' name. I was reading a sweet little book, 6 Steps to Spiritual Revival by Pat Robertson. It was written early 2000s, 2003. And this struck me. He said, we would do well to see less of the slogan, God bless America, and more of the less popular phrase, America bless God. That phrase kept ringing in my spirit that day. I was out walking and talking to God, and I said, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean that we bless you? America bless God. And I came to understand that it meant to agree with God, to come in agreement with God. And that's what prayer is, right? It's coming in agreement with God. And we need to agree with his character and his blessings on the earth. And one of the things that struck me is that, you know what? He thinks children are a great blessing. Like, if I would figure what would be God's greatest blessing from his heart, and it's children. It's to give us children. Now, as a nation, do we live in agreement of that? Do we bless our children? Do we consider them such a valuable blessing that we wouldn't bring harm to them? So one wonders sometimes, and when you're not in agreement with God, and I know we're talking in a corporate way, not necessarily an individual way, but when we're not in agreement with God, and then we want him to bless us, but we say that's not a blessing, what he calls a blessing. So I'm really struck that we need to agree with God. Like, I don't know how anybody could look around and not think that the sovereignty of our nation is threatened right now. In fact, I don't think it's just threatened. It feels like it's to the point of a gaping mortal wound. Every week when I get on here, I understand more and more why God compelled me so strongly to be praying for this nation and to gather as many. And I know we don't have to pray just on Independence Day. We're praying all the time. But there is something about a corporate prayer sometimes that is a blessing to each other and to God. And so that is why I called this. And this verse struck me this week. Proverbs 21:22 says, a warrior filled with wisdom ascends into the high place and releases regional breakthrough, bringing down the strongholds of the mighty. We need to suit up, warriors. We need to have the whole armor of God, and we need to bring down the strongholds. God has empowered us through prayer to bring down the strongholds in Jesus' name. God bless you. I love you. And in Jesus' name, we declare strongholds are brought down, that the very words of our mouth and the agreement that we have with God, that we're supposed to be a land of liberty, a land of abundance, a land of blessing so that we can bless others. We come in agreement with that. And we praise you, Father, for all you're doing in our day and in our time. And we will not let loose of praying for ourselves, for our nation, for our cities, for our families. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I love you all. Suit up, warrior.